conversationalist and is very plugged in with what is happening around Denton and its social and historic context. So I would highly recommend doing a Google search for him and looking at some fantastic Denton-based web publications like We Denton Do It and the Dentonite, because he has some interesting things to say. So please look him up later. Right now you can give him your undivided attention as he talks about Denton University mascots, their history through today. And a round of applause for Dr. Chantry!
Yeah. The only true part about that was the shithead bit.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
I'm glad you did. And Jordan, by the way, then you ended as like, well, we could either go Skynet or Star Trek. And I'm like, well, fuck. All right, tell me it. I don't know Star Trek. I'm all Star Trek. So yeah, my name is Dr. Chantry. I'm a rogue academic, and I write a lot about Denton history. And that's one of the reasons we had a speaker fall out, and I was basically like, I'm on deck. All right, so what am I going to write about? So I write for We Didn't Do It. It's a local arts and culture blog, which, did I kick that? Did that already happen? We're going punk rock. We're at the end of the night. Nobody gives any fucks. Here we go. Thank you. Like literally the only person to give a shit. So, Denton College mascots is what I'm going to talk about. Because Denton has a weird, wacky, wild history of college mascots. I mean, we're a two-college town. Do you guys have any idea how unique that is? We have two colleges. And guess what? Mascots do not spring out like fully formed like Venus. They literally are things that have thought, they have history or whatever. So I'm here today to tell you a little bit about our two universities. Next slide. So here's what we've got. We've got two universities that you guys know as UNT and TWU, but there have been many incarnations before that you may have very little realization of. For example, what you see up in front of you right now is UNT has actually gone through at least 7 different name changes. Did you guys know that? That's fucking weird. So it started off in 1890, and so that was the beginning point, and then goes through several different changes. And every one of those changes are actually these different changes, and today I guess we would talk about it as branding or identity or whatever, but literally, this is the difference between, it first started off as like training teachers to where we're at today. We're a Research One university. And UNT is like this whole other thing, right? And so there's this weird like mascot story that is like fascinating because it tells a weird story about Denton. And there's also TWU, Texas Women's University, which has also gone through its own name changes. Do you see this? It started off in 1901 as the Girls Industrial College. And then, of course, in 57, it became Texas Women's University. So again, the same thing. And look, spoiler alert, we just had news yesterday. How many have heard about the new TWU mascot? Yeah, okay. So I literally see 2, 3, 4 hands up. And everybody else is like, what's going on? Look, spoiler alert, the conclusion of this is why that is a big fucking deal. Like, why TW having a mascot now is actually amazing, and we all need to understand that this is hugely historically significant. Next slide. So here we are. Like, where did UNT start out? So, University of North Texas started in 1890. We saw that. These poor sons of bitches, their first mascot was a bell. A goddamn bell. They used to signal the change of classes, and it used to tell them when their curfew was over at night at 9 o'clock, because they all had to be in bed reading shit by candlelight that was literally written by monks in like the fucking 1700s. I don't know. But it was crazy. And this bell, okay, interesting side note, because we're getting ready to go into October, that bell is haunted. There was a ghost in that bell tower. But this is the picture actually of the normal building over here on the left. And the normal building was where they had the bell tower. So the first mascot was actually a fucking bell. And here they are, still in 1959, ringing that bell. These students, and I don't know why you would let like 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds ring a goddamn bell for that long that's antique. It wound up having so many cracks in it, they retired it. So they actually had it on top of like the smokestack of the old steam, for those of you that know UNT. And then they had to retire it. They brought out more bells, because that's what you do, because they're ringing bells. So next slide. They also, because apparently UNT is a really big fan of loud fucking noises, they had a muzzleloader cannon that they have, like, every time they would score, they would blow off a fucking cannon. A goddamn cannon would, like, fire off, and they, of course they named it, because why would you not? It was called Boomer. And it was, the Talons is the big spirit group. They actually had a muzzleloader, black powder muzzleloader cannon. Here you see pictures of it. I love this picture of these guys dressed up. I don't know, like, are they doing like Bonnie and Clyde, like what's happening? This is literally during the 1970s. They're just tickled to shoot off a cannon because let's just admit right now between all of us, sports isn't fun unless you can make such a loud noise that it makes both your opponents and nearby neighbors shit their pants. Like that's the height of like sports is awesome. And this is why we do sport ball. Next slide. So, of course, like the icon that we know is Scrappy the Eagle. This is actually not true. The eagle, okay, let me go to the tape. Scrappy the Eagle did not start off as Scrappy the Eagle. The UNT Eagle did not even show up on the scene for UNT until 1921. There was a student petition, and actually they had a vote with the students, and the Eagle barely beat out a dragon as the official school mascot by 17 lousy votes. We could have been dragons! Game of Thrones, come on! So behind the times. I know, right? Eagle, dragon, and they went Eagle by 17 votes, I kid you not. Okay, but up until then, there were student athletic groups that honestly, very uninterestingly, went by the name of the Normal Boys and the Normal Girls, because that was one of the names, UNT Normal College. Normal not meaning that you're normal, it meant you were a teacher, which meant boring, which also meant, shit, that's a damn bad name. But there were also a few sassy women's basketball clubs who dubbed themselves, the Dandy Doers, the Haughty Hits, the Suffragettes, because fuck yeah, the Limber Lassies. Like, these were actual names, and so those of you that are taking notes for Denton punk band names, you owe me a commission. Right now, you're welcome. Now, so here's the weird thing, is like once live birds started to be trotted out, this is literally true. After 1950, live birds were used. The first bird that was used